Live, Obi-Wan. Had a pretty good Christmas Eve with the family. Um, my little sister gave me they're called a dongle. You plug them into computer. I think it's USB. I haven't looked at it yet, but she said she had all of Dad's slides on the thing. And my other sister had told me years ago that my other sister had thrown them all away. I said, "You're kidding." I've been angry with her for years. It turns out she meant she just threw away the circular thing. I wish I had that now. It'd probably be worth money. It was a projector with a canister you'd put on the top of it, and it would spin around and lift every single slide. Little paper and film slides, color slides, in beautiful Kodachrome. Yeah. And we used to watch these things as my dad had hundreds of them, if not more. An entire lifetime of photographs. And I thought my sister had thrown away the photographs. And I kind of forgot all about it. Yesterday, Christmas Eve. Today is Christmas Day, 2025. Hard to believe. And I'm still alive. 2 heart attacks this past year. And dealing with, I won't go into it, the medical, the whole thing. We are being lied to on a daily basis. So anyway, my little sister had them on, and she gave that to me. And that sudden realization that my father's entire collection of photographs had been preserved. When I thought, for years, I blamed my older sister for saying she had thrown it away. She had thrown away the equipment, apparently. Then I find out from my sister-in-law, wife of my older brother who passed away a few years ago, that she had these slides all this time, gave them to my little sister, and my little sister it must have taken her forever, of scanning each and every one into her computer. I couldn't believe it. It must have taken weeks, if not months. And they're all on a little dongle thingy, sitting over there by the TV. I don't have the heart to look at it yet. I'm going to have to hook my this noise.
Indiana, Southeast Indiana, Northeast.
I was about to show you this, and then I started thinking about the photographs. But having survived to my 69th year, no idea why, I've outlived my dad and my brother. Well, not entirely. I've still got another year until next October to be 69, and my brother, I don't remember the exact month, but in his 69th year, he passed away. My dad died when he was 62, which is strange because my dad's siblings lived into their 80s. Go figure. Probably the poison we've been exposed to since World War II. Now I've developed some, on top of everything else, and it's bugging the shit out of me. I've got something. There's actually something inside my left eye, because for the last few days I go like this, and it looks like it's swinging back and forth in the opposite direction of I'm looking. I flushed my eye. I'm looking. I'm thinking, is it a hair? Is it, is it a goober? What is it? Then I realize I look very closely, and there is something inside my fucking eye, which I was told, once again, years ago by a doctor. I was developing cataracts on this side, but it doesn't seem to be attached to anything. If it is, it looks like a smudge going up and down like this across my eyesight. bugging the fuck out of me. So anyway, that's where I am. With the everything else that's happened physically, it's now Christmas Day. I'm not going to start going on and on about what's going on with the world because I think most people know. I just wish there were people in running the country who weren't total scumbags. I went back into the hospital after having a heart attack this past month. Not long ago, a couple of weeks. Every time I go in there, I develop bronchitis. And then I can't shake it. So I took some ivermectin, which saved my life 2021 when the COVID thing swept through. Saved my life. And then I took some antibiotics that I've kept. Merry Christmas. People are constantly saying hi to me. I don't know why you folks are watching me. I'm not that interesting. Perhaps I am. I'm a survivor. I'm in Central Ohio. And my brother-in-law, my nephew-in-law, God bless him. He gave me a pistol safe. I'll show that to you maybe. And he gave me this NOAA weather radar emergency radio. I had one that I bought, cheaper one, in a case of emergency. I won't show you, but I've got, let's say, some survival skills. If the worst happens, I might survive. But he gave me this, and it's actually quite nice, quite robust. But when you put it on the weather radio channel, which is 162.550 here in Central Ohio, it won't. You have to hold it in a certain spot because the signal's weak coming out of Columbus, Ohio. I'm well outside of Columbus, Ohio. If you do this, you can't hear it. So it's like I'm not going to hear the emergency alert. I've got that set, and then you plug it in with a USB. You can plug it in 24/7, or it has emergency batteries, and it has this nifty little crank. So if everything else fails, you can actually crank it back up. But you got to hope you can hear the signal. So I got to put this somewhere where it will, probably over in the window there, either behind me or at the end of the rig. So it'll work. It'll function when the alarm goes off for the severe weather. Because I don't have the TV on for that, and I don't have the radio on all day.
The temperature was 47 degrees, and the relative
quite warm.
58%. The wind north.
It's actually quite a nice day, Christmas Day.
The pressure was 30.11 inches and rising. And now the conditions for selecting across Ohio.
You move the antenna, or it has an antenna built into the rig. I'm going to have to figure a way to run a cable and clip it to this so it'll pick up the cable on the roof.
In Cleveland, cloudy and 37.
Or antenna, I should say.
Down in Cincinnati, fog and 53. And over in Dayton, partly sunny and 49. Once again at 4 p.m. at the John Glenn Columbus International Airport, it was 47 degrees under partly sunny skies. This is NOAA weather. All hazards radio station.
Everybody should have one of these.
Columbus, Ohio.
And you should make sure it's charged up and ready. Most people are not prepared to go out their door and deal with society, all right? Your average person is so unprepared for any kind of emergency. Oh, look at that. I put the antenna down. I'm acting as an antenna. So I got to hook it up. I'll put it in, hook it up permanently to the power over there by the TV, and the antenna lead comes out of the wall over there by the TV. That way I'll have this thing ready. It'll always be charged. I still got to put some AAA batteries into it that back up the solar. It also has a nifty little solar power. So if you put it in the window where the sun will get to it, it'll always be charged. These things are actually quite important. Most every person should have one. You know, it's not a toy. This is a functioning thing, but you know, it's a little. It's a.
East in the afternoon. Saturday night, mostly cloudy. A chance of rain.
You got to have it where it'll receive the signal, which is coming out of clear up in Columbus, unfortunately. 30% chance of rain. Okay, so actually, you want to leave it on.
Sunday night, rain. Lows in the lower 30s. Chance of rain.
Anyway, I don't want to hear that constantly, so for the time being, if you put it, there it is. That is the emergency setting, WX on, and you got a little a little light flashing, or there it is. It means if the emergency alert goes out, it'll pick it up, so you don't have to listen to it constantly. It has AM and FM on it, but nobody listens to that anymore. And it, even on a good stereo, I can't listen to radio or anything anymore. I use XM on my cars and my TV here. My sister-in-law, she's my sister, my brother's wife. She makes cookies every year for Christmas, and I sit here and I will eat one, tell myself no, and then I'll eat the rest of them at 2 sittings probably. Oh. Okay, Obi-Wan. I don't know how people find me. I guess they're scanning through looking for, oh, look at that. Look who's sitting behind me. It's Mr. Bones. No, I am not a serial killer. I'm not Ed Gein. I don't have a bowl full of ladies' fingers in my kitchen. This is the Halloween guy. I used to let him sit outside all year round just to freak out the neighbors. But I brought him in this time. I may put him up on the roof, like waving to people. So, oh, that's a good one. Oh, there's chocolate chip. There's sugar cookies. And here's my favorite. She puts them on the bottom. Baklava. I love baklava. I mean, you're talking about Middle Eastern to Central Asia. They make this. The Lebanese people make the best, probably. Go to any Lebanese restaurant. My sister makes the best goddamn baklava. So anyway, I survived another heart attack. I just went to see a checkup with yet another doctor. They all have to get paid, right? So they send me to one doctor and after another. So they're all cashing in. That's what the medical industry does in the United States. It's a fucking racket, just like war. Send me to yet another doctor, but this guy is, he's a cardiologist. But he's the first one that said, because the rest of them just want to do, they don't want Medicare. They don't want to get paid by Medicare because they want to charge $30,000 for a procedure and Medicare will give them $3,000. And they take it. But then they rush it, and it's like, next, who's got some real insurance? Medicare. So he's the first one that's told me. He looks at me. He says, that first heart attack you had back in June, July. He says most people don't survive that particular type of heart attack. I'm like, well, I was conscious through the entire thing. Never passed out. I wish I had. Not died, but passed out because I didn't want to experience that again. Just intense, horrifying pressure and pain in the center of my chest. And then you start hacking and coughing uncontrollably, and you puke. You get nauseous. And so anyway, I wouldn't want to do that. He says it's amazing that you survived. Most people don't make. And even the EMTs that took me to the hospital and the nurses there said, you know what we call this particular heart attack? Oh, what? We call that the Widowmaker. I'm like, well, I was awake through the whole thing. Even the process where they stick it's almost healed already for the second time. They stick a tube into your vein here and all the way up your artery to your heart, and they shove what are basically slinkies into your arteries. And the thing, when they release it, it goes and turns into a tube and supposedly keeps your arteries open. But this doctor said, he's also the first one to admit, he says, because I went in and they put in 2 more fucking stents. I got 4 of them, apparently in the same arteries. And he says, I don't know why they didn't just recommend you for, a bypass, an open heart bypass. He says, that probably would have been better for you. I said, well, I'm thinking they knew I was going to come back so they could charge me again and double the Medicare because they're not getting paid otherwise. They got to take Medicare, and they can't get, actually the bill was pushing $200,000. $200,000 effing dollars. For sticking shit in your heart and then pumping you full of drugs, which were worse than the heart attack and nearly killed me. The drug, and that's all part of the plan. The one drug they give you crashes your blood pressure. Another drug they give you simultaneously spikes your blood pressure. So they're putting me on and off this different shit. And then they're giving me another drug, a statin. You're not supposed to give that with this prednisone. And then another doctor says, why are they shouldn't do that. That's dangerous. Takes me off of all these drugs. And then the one they were saying, you must have, I can't remember the name of it. There's so many. I should show you. It's fucking nuts how the kind of drugs they give you. He says, the doctor says, no, they shouldn't be giving you. I said, yeah, I even figured that one out because I stopped taking them for a while, and then they blamed me for the second heart attack. Not the potential malpractice of not giving me the proper treatment because of Medicare. I said, I stopped taking these fucking meds you were giving me, and everything normalized. My blood pressure, my glucose, everything. It went normal. Then they're all there going, oh no, you have to take. So my family. So I take the one medication again, and I check my blood pressure. I got a thing over there, and it spikes. It's fuck it. If I'm gonna die, I might as well have a fucking cookie. Hang on. I gotta show you this. Still a little chilly in here. Propane. Look at this. I'll do this without the phone falling out of the thing. Look at this. Look at this. Tadalafil. Make your penis hard. Doesn't work. Supposed to help you peeing. Ranolazine. Stuff will kill you. Look at the warning labels. Baclofen for back pain. Stuff will kill you. Gabapentin, one of the worst. Stuff will fucking kill you. Good old aspirin. They don't want to prescribe this because it's been around about 150 years and it works. They don't like prescribing something that works. Tamulocin for your pissing. Entresto. This was the big one. You got to take this. Yeah, well, it's making my blood pressure spike dangerously. Well, maybe you shouldn't take it. They take it. I'll take me off of it. More ranolazine. More baclofen. Fucking tamulocin. Metoprolol. What the? More Entresto. More Entresto. This is insane. There's a probiotic I bought off the shelf. All this off the shelf stuff is the same way. Oh, there's the amoxicillin. Hang on to the amoxicillin. This is anti-infection. Antibacterial. It'll kill the nasty things. Especially, like if you get sick. They don't like prescribing this kind of thing. Basically, it lowers your immunity, but it's like the only thing that works. So if they give you amoxicillin or any kind of, like penicillin, any kind of illin, hang on to it. They say take it all till it's gone. They want you to do that so that you can't take it later. You got to come back to them and get more and pay them more. Just take it till you feel better. You only need 2 or 3 days, like 3 pills, 4 pills, and then save the rest. Keep it. I mean, look at this. I got more baclofen for muscle relaxers. My heart is failing, and they give me muscle relaxers. More penis pills. Oh, thyroid medication. I'm on another thyroid medication over in that little red bag there. Has even more fucking drugs in it. Different ones that they took me off of this shit because it was fucking killing me. One of these that they were giving me was actually destroying my kidneys. And only one doctor caught it and said, stop taking that shit right now. The other doctors, and we're talking about St. Anne's, it's Columbus, Ohio, St. Anne's. Anyway, it's not a Methodist op. That's Riverside is just, they're all bad. They were giving me this fucking drug that was destroying my kidneys. One doctor says, stop taking that shit. Why'd they give you that? And the other doctor goes, oh, no, you can't stop taking it. And I tell her, I said, well, this is... And every time they prescribe any of this shit to me, most people just take it. They don't even think. And then most people don't even read the label. Don't read the label. Go online. Use your phone. That's what it's for. Just do a search on the drug. And if it comes up Mayo Clinic or Cleveland Clinic, one of those, look at the side effects. Look at the goddamn side effects. Do I speak Portuguese? No, I don't speak Portuguese. I am not in Brazil. I'm in the United States. I probably should speak other languages. I was pretty fluent in French for 2 years in high school and then just gone. But taking French was in the 70s. That meant something because it was the universal diplomatic language. That all changed. Now you better know Chinese or Russian. But anyway, look at, and this thing is full. It weighs about 30 pounds. And it's full of fucking prescription drugs that I'm not supposed to, I just refuse to take anymore. Among other things, it's got some survival shit in there. But it's like, and then I've got another fucking bag full of more drugs. What they do to people it's inexcusable. It's criminal. This Pfizer, Merck, fucking Johnson & Johnson, this overprescription of chemicals, and it's all being made in communist China. The thyroid medication. Years ago, 2018, I think, 2017, when I went to a doctor, I loved her. She was not only cute, but she was like more homeopathic. She was trying to wean off of chemicals and going with natural herbs and such. And then she stopped practicing for some reason. So anyway, she was giving me this thyroid medication. Well, your thyroid glands don't work, and that regulates your rest of your organs. So I'm taking his shit, and then I do you do a search online, and it comes up with a report from some reputable doctor saying this has been recalled. This particular drug and brand has been recalled, and she didn't know about it. They don't tell the doctors that their drugs are poison and been some ingredient was in this fucking thyroid medication made in China. So who knows, some communist in China was dumping fucking something into the mix. How many people they made sick or killed? Who knows? So I told her, I said, I'm not going to, it's recalled. Then I looked at all kinds of thyroid medications, and every single one has been recalled at one time or another. So I'm like, what is this really doing to us? Is there, now I got the bronchitis from being in the hospital. So I even tried, some other herbal things for, thyroid support. It's all bullshit too. It's fucking snake oil. It's God. And the simplest fucking thing that should just give you, plant extracts. I've got lion's mane mushroom. I've got Ceylon cinnamon. Both good for your brain, your nervous system, your heart, your organs. And there's 2 or 3 others I was trying here and there. Just straight ground up plant material. I got a frog caught right here, which is from the fucking drugs and being exposed to all these other sick people, illegals, most of them. You go into any hospital now, and all you're going to see, especially go into any hospital or clinic, even in not the rich areas, but the average areas or the poor areas, they're overwhelmed with illegal people. They all came in, they've got polio, they've got fucking measles, they've got, all kind dysentery. They got all kinds of horrifying illnesses and shit that we eliminated 50, 100 years ago. Back when vaccines were real vaccines. They would actually take the pathogen the virus or the bug and take the dead, or sometimes even live, active pathogen, and purposefully make you sick. They would inject people with it, just a tiny bit, and then if you survived, they considered that a cure because you were immune basically after that. Anthrax, the plague, you name it, and it used to work until they started seeing dollar signs and then converted everything into fucking little white pills that they can then give you Entresto. That's the one that was screwing up my blood pressure. It just spiked. I stopped taking it, it went to normal. And then when I go to the hospital, to the doctor, they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. I go, you know what? I realize now, you want me sick. You want me coming back here so you can keep charging the Medicare, because Medicare will not pay you the hundreds of thousands of dollars that you try to extort from, ill people. So instead of getting 30, they get $3,000. But then they'll just, another doctor will come in, there's another grand, another doctor, another drug, another treatment, another test. Test your blood every 4 hours. So they're sticking needles in you everywhere. I had needles up and down my arms, needles up and down in this hand. They were bruised from the needles. And one here that hasn't quite healed. It was very badly bruised. And they're like, oh no, we can't use, I said, you've stuck 2 of them in my arms here. Just put it into those. Those are permanently. No, we can't do that. We have to stick another one in. And then some of these nurses, they don't know, they can't find a vein. I just can't. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know it hurts, but I can't find the vein. Yeah, oh, God damn it. And then these arrogant doctors, when I told them to their face, I'm like, I get the reports from this system. Now that everything is computerized, it's amazing. As soon as they get the test results, it goes into their computer, and I get a notification instantly. So it's called My Chart with this hospital. Trinity Health, My Chart. And you read these reports, and these doctors they're not looking at the entire history. They're not looking at all the, that rarely they go, oh, here's a list of the drugs that you're on. There were like 9, 10 different medications. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not fucking doing this. There's something deeply flawed with the goddamn medical system in America and elsewhere, Europe. The rest of the third world, the mud people, the mud countries, the shithole countries, they don't have any such, they're breeding like rabbits. They're outbreeding everyone, even though they have no fucking sanitation, no fucking idea of how to keep clean. They brought all these, the north end of Columbus, the whole of Columbus now is just overwhelmed with illegals. And I've ended up having to drive them after they killed my limousine service. Why? Because they gave them driver's licenses of cars and sent them to Uber and Lyft and they took over the cab companies. Check any cab company, it's all Somalians now. These Somalians, they got a special deal back in the day when the CIA stirred up the warlords. They said, we're gonna make a deal with. They're gonna make a bunch of you rich. We're gonna make you warlords rich. We're gonna fake a war. We're gonna bring in a few Marines and get them slaughtered on purpose, and then we're gonna let you so-called pirates go out and make mayhem with the shipping lanes. Pirates. All you need is a good 20 millimeter cannon on a container ship, and you can blow them stupid fuckers out of the water. The whole thing with I actually drove the real Captain Phillips to the Oscars. Back when that movie came out, I drove the real, get this, that's my life. I drove limousines in Los Angeles for 13 years, 2001 till 2014. And I worked for two or three different companies. And, you know, you would go to the Oscars, you take people to the Oscars, you take people to the studios, you meet all kinds of people. Most of them are okay, but you know that all the actors and all those, you know, the industry people, they're all owned by Satan, whatever Satan might be, the satanic cults, you know, the goblins. Anyway, I ended up driving. I drove a lot of people to the Oscars. I mean, I should have made a list. I just can't remember names. But one that stood out was the real Captain Phillips, the guy that got hijacked by these fucking fake Somalian pirates. And in the same, he was a nice guy, good guy, you know, down to earth, you know, regular guy. Him and his wife were like out of place in Hollywood. But I drove him and his wife to and from the Oscars. I got this fucking thing in my eye. I gotta have to go back to a doctor for cataracts. It's driving me nuts. I can see this. Something is hanging inside of my eyeball. And it's going back and just distracting the shit out of me. So, yeah, I drive him to the Oscars. And in the same month, well, actually the same week, because I drive the skinny asshole Somalian guy who thought he was an actor, who played the Somalian boss, the crew that were on that lifeboat with Captain Phillips. The actor, not the actual Somalian, because they all got their brains blown out by the special forces, the SEALs. Boom. They took it. They had a chance. Three of them. They got one of them stupidly went on board the aircraft carrier because he was sick. He's the only one that survived. Who knows where he is now. But the other three, they popped their heads out at the same time, and these snipers on the back of the destroyer that was towing them, boom, 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 just blew all their brains out. So Captain Phillips was right in the middle of that. He probably had Somalian brains all over him. So anyway, long story longer, I drove the Somalian guy who thought he was an actor and portrayed this guy in the movie. He was an asshole. He was a total fucking asshole, you know? And he was going to some party, you know, some studio party, and they were kissing his ass, and they knew he was fucking nothing. Because he looks like the guy who is now is he the mayor or the representative in Minnesota? Skinny little, you know, beanpole, you know, the face is about this wide with that stupid little beard coming out, you know, and just arrogant little fuck, turd people, mud people, fucking Somalians. And they are criminals. They're all criminals. Turns out, oh, you know what? They were defrauding the system for billions just in Minnesota. Billions of dollars just in Minnesota. And what's happening to them? Nothing. Everybody got their piece of the action. Same here in Columbus. Ginther is the mayor in Columbus. He's a fucking Democrat criminal. He don't care. You know? Same thing here. Probably 100,000, maybe more Somalians that they count their fake votes. They're not voting. They're just, and everything is free. Just handed to them for free. So, I think my point was, because these guys, all these people, and all from other countries too, they all started driving Uber, Lyft, the cab companies, and they basically have driven all the limousine operators almost out of business. There's only one or two that are surviving because they had those big stupid party buses, or they one of them is called American. I won't say much about them. they treated me and every other driver like shit. Probably mobbed up out of Cleveland, and they had an operation here in Columbus. They hang on because they got a lock on all of the funeral homes and a lot of the corporate work. They just get the calls. Corporations, they got a receptionist that isn't taking her time. And the reason my phone stopped ringing, I was doing really well. I should have been set up by now, even after getting wiped out by the banking bullshit in Los Angeles in 2009. Came back to Columbus, got wiped out again in 2010, or not 2010, 2020 by the fake virus thing. Bounced back from that after fighting with the SBA and their bullshit, denying small businesses the small business money, giving it to big corporations, and all the fraud that went along with it. All of the so-called oppressed people, the dark people. They had special treatment. Billions just disappeared. I had to fight with them for 2 years. Some DEI hire sitting at her kitchen table, talking to me like this. Well, you just don't want to, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. And I ended up getting $5,000 here, $5,000 there. And it barely covered my bills while I was being wiped out. No business, no nothing. I managed to hang on to my car like I did in Los Angeles. So long story longer, now I'm all, thanks hospital, thanks medical industry. So I managed to pull myself up by my bootstraps and actually got the service going again, and then got screwed. I had the Cadillac, I bought an SUV, I was ready to expand, and then Google starts fucking with us. They remove your listing. It's like, you're no longer approved, or whatever they call it. It's still there, but you can't change anything. You changed your address, and we can't you are not verified. That's the term. I sent them, I lost count of the number of videos I sent them, showing all of the state paperwork. Yeah, I'm a real company. Showing them the vehicles, and I said, there's no physical, I don't have an office. It's a fucking mobile company. It's cars. Show them the cars. Show them that, I'm still, fuck. So, and it's some fucking dweeb in Bangladesh making a decision, and they just blow you off. And then I finally got one guy to verify it, after he's actually looking at me live. I'm showing this shit to him, FaceTiming, and he finally proves it. And then they take it away immediately because there's some other, the phone number or something. I'm like, oh, this is deliberate. So I'm fighting, Google, which is the business listing. I got most of my calls that way. That and Yelp, which are criminal. They were defrauding people and got caught doing that. And now I get calls from them constantly trying to make me pay for advertising. And I'm like, so what do? They blacklist you. They shadow ban you, just like Google does. So nobody will see you. I used to be on the first page. I was one of the first people somebody would see if Yelp or Google. And people would call me. They'd look at the reviews. People love me. 5-star. And then the phone stops ringing. Just a couple of years ago. I'm like, what the? I look on Google. And this is, during the not Obama, but during the Biden years. The guy who, when he was president, promised me 2 years of working capital, I never got. I should, I should. Anyway, uh, Jesus God, the fucking. So that's when they started importing all of these wonderful mud people, knowing that they were degrading the very fabric of the country, the republic, destroying it, bringing in people who they don't want to be Americans. In the past, people that came from other nations, they wanted to be Americans. Didn't matter if they were Italian, if they were Chinese, didn't matter if they were Central American, didn't matter if they were Russian, African. They came here and they wanted to be fucking Americans. So they did it the right way. Then they say there's 20 million or more. I don't know how many, but there's a shitload of them here in Central Ohio and everywhere else you go now. So I look on Google. I'm like, why is my phone stop ringing? I look on Google and I'm getting like 80% of my calls, and I was getting referrals and such. I had some big clients here in Columbus. Hey, Columbus Crew, this soccer football team. Why aren't you calling me anymore? Did you find some illegal to do it cheaper? Of course you did. You're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. You were champions, and you couldn't spring for a couple of grand for me to give you proper service. Ohio University, same thing. I was giving them a deal, driving, potential. They're the same way. They got more money than they know what to do with. It's all based on sports. I was driving their basketball and football recruits down there, back and forth from the airport up here, or if they lived so locally. I even went in to clear down in West Virginia to pick up recruits and bring them back to Ohio University down in Athens, Ohio. They love me. Oh, you're great, Howard. We really appreciate it. And then one day it was like 100 degrees, and they go, we're coming right out. We'll be there in. So I'm sitting out there with the fucking SUV, the Suburban, running in this heat, not realizing I was there an hour. I fucking waited. All I had to do was go across the road to the convention center hotel that they own. I could have sat there in the lobby in the air conditioning and let the Suburban sit, not running. But no, they kept me waiting a fucking hour. And the next thing you know, my Suburban is blowing up. It's boiling over. I cooked the fucking engine and transmission. I cooked the radiator. And the guy wanted a fucking refund. Fucking guys at Ohio University, they're, and I had been giving them such a deal driving back and forth to Columbus. No loyalty. It's like, they're like, we had to have one of our coaches drive them back to Columbus. Yeah. You kept me waiting there and my fucking vehicle blew up. So you want to pay for that? No. I say, that's what happens in this business. And he's, no, we're going to keep using you. Yeah. Well, they used me 3 times after that. Then I'm hearing from, the family, they complained about you driving us. Have you driven through West Virginia? It was people from West Virginia. Have you driven that highway into West Virginia? It's like this. And you got semi-trucks on both sides of you. And you got fucking stupid people going 45 miles an hour up a hill. And you got stupid people going 90 miles an hour down the hill. And you're trying to avoid all this shit. I said, that's what I was dealing with. And this family had the fucking gall to complain about that I was driving too fast. I kept these fucking people alive. Black family, of course. You racist. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sick of these fucking mud people now. So they stopped calling me. Then the head coach, I go and see the basketball. head coach. He fucks up, books me on the wrong day. And I got it right there in black and white. It's in the order. I'm sitting there waiting. I'm going, hey, when are you guys bringing them out? He goes, oh, no, that's not until tomorrow. I go, well, you gave me this fucking day, and I showed it to him. So sorry, Howard. Just go ahead and charge us. We'll rebook for the next. After that, I know what he did. He went to the university who were, they're asking him about the fucking billing, and he probably said, this guy's ripping us off. Fuck you. If I'm wrong, correct me, and I'll apologize. But I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong about any of these fucking corporate people. There's no fucking loyalty whatsoever. I keep these fucking people alive on the road. I've said that to several people. I said, they're flying in on private jets, going to football games. Those were great. I'd make a couple of grand in one afternoon driving people from private airport next to Columbus Airport, NetJets, Signature, that kind of thing. You pick them up from their private jet that the corporation either owns or they're leasing it, and they're spending 50 grand just to fly. Maybe more, 75 grand just, to fly a plane with 6 of their buddies. They go to the football game. They're all smiles. Oh, we loved it. It's great. Howard, you're fantastic. Never call again. Because they're telling some receptionist they don't give a fuck. They don't remember who you are. They don't say, call this guy. Make sure, put him in your Rolodex. They used to have Rolodex. No, it's like, just call us a car down there. And now, I'm getting back to the point. Why can't they find me on Google, which is where they always go? That's some receptionist, Columbus, Ohio. What a backwater. Well, just look on Google for airport limousine. I used to be on the first page. Right there, and there were only half a dozen legitimate car services, and half of those were scumbags. So I was on the first fucking page with these guys. I look Google recently, this past year. Not on the first page. Not on the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh page. My service pops up on this. Nobody goes 7 pages deep on the interwebs looking for a company that's legitimate. 40. Fucking 40 new listings. And every one of them is Ethiopian this, and fucking Sahib that, and fucking desert this, and fucking, this service and that service. And none of them are limousine companies. But they pop up because they put the keyword in. Somebody's setting it up. Some nonprofit is setting it up for them. These people aren't smart enough. They can't read a fucking stop sign. They don't know what a fucking yield sign is. 40 fucking new listings. And I just get pushed right out of existence. My phone stops ringing. No loyalty with any of these fucking... I've got a list of over 1,000, maybe 2,000 people that I've driven just in the past years since 2016 in Columbus, Ohio. So 10 years. 10 years of clients listed, Not one of them is fucking loyal. One guy is loyal, and he just got cancer. So he's not, and he only calls once or twice a year when he and his wife are going on vacation. I'm like, I appreciate it, I really do, but once or twice a year ain't gonna pay the bills. So now I've maxed out credit cards. I'm juggling credit cards, 1,000 here, 2,000 there. I actually had to go back. I drove for Uber and Lyft when the last limo company fucked me. They told American, I'll say who it is, you fucking assholes. You fucking criminal mafia types from Cleveland, you cunts. They fucked me because their managers were assholes. The manager was like the grandson of the founder or something. And the other guy that managed with him was a just total dick. Just a total fucking, frat boy type asshole. Can't remember his name just as well. They tell me, oh yeah, you go buy a Cadillac. We'll farm work to, we'll give work to you. Because we got conferences in Cleveland. We're doing this, we're doing that. They say, yeah, go buy it. I went and bought a nice Cadillac. It was only 2 years old. It only had 18,000 miles on it. Cadillac XTS, the big sedan. Nice car when I got it. Run the shit out of it since then. But it still looks nice. Because I've kept it up. I put a new engine in it. I've rebuilt basically the whole car to keep it on the road. So I buy this fucking thing and they don't use me. They don't fucking use me. Because they don't want somebody who's smart working for them. Because I'm telling other drivers, you're getting fucked. You're getting fucked in the ass doing that, doing this, doing that. I'm not trying to kill their business. I'm just saying, you're trying to give me a fucking a trip. You're tying up an SUV. You're tying up an Escalade, which are now $160,000. You're tying up an Escalade, sending me up to fucking Sam's Club or someplace, clear across the other side of town, to pick up water, bottled water. I said, you guys realize they'll deliver? So, well, no, the one manager, salesman, he says, no, they won't do that. He's killing time. He's getting paid a salary. He goes up to Sam's Club and he has a coffee and a hot dog, and he's just killing an entire day. I actually did it with him one day. I'm like, he's meeting me up there. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I putting a fucking cases of water in the back of this, tying up this vehicle to take water back all the way down to the office? So I told him, I said, you're getting screwed, right? What do you mean? They will deliver an entire pallet of fucking water all wrapped up nice and with a bow. They'll deliver anything you need. They'll deliver your fucking toilet paper, your paper towels. They'll deliver your oil. They will deliver it all right to your front fucking door and stack it inside for you. Why are you tying me up, paying me a shitty fucking hourly wage, and you don't get a tip from a case of water? You realize that. They don't like that. They don't fucking like that. They don't like being told that they're fucking criminals and stupid. So eventually it came to a head. I got this fucking Cadillac. I'm like, so I put a listing up on Google. I said, okay, Lucan Limousine is back in business after, leaving Los Angeles, where the same thing happened. The banks crashed the economy and everybody went out of business. I kept driving somehow. I had a nice Lincoln that I didn't go out and buy a brand new Lincoln like they wanted you to, because I could sense something was happening. And the banks are like, here, have a credit card. Here, take a credit card. We're going to put $5,000 on this credit card. I don't want it. I don't need it. Take it. Take the ticket. Same with fucking American Express, who fucked me earlier in a couple of years before. No, here, have a credit card. We're gonna put $10,000 on that credit card for you. Now we got you by the balls. Now we got you. Look at this. Nobody's watching. See what? As soon as I start talking about that, the fucking algorithm kicks in, and nobody sees it. That's okay. That's okay. I'll keep talking. Eventually, one day, somebody will stumble across it, and they'll go, "Man, this guy's getting fucked." That's a nice one. That's peanut butter Reese's cup in a cookie. My sister-in-law, man, she makes the best cookies. I can't lose any weight eating this shit. I can't exercise because my back and my heart. I got every excuse in the book. So anyway, that's that. That's why I got parted ways with them. And as soon as I got noticed online, I started making money. Really looking forward to, I didn't want to be one of these old gray guys. When I was in LA, and I was only in my 50s, only 50s, going in, my 50s, and looking forward to retiring in 5 years with, a little small fleet of cars. And they pull the rug up. I would see these old guys driving for these limo companies, getting treated like shit. Old guys, late 60s, 70s, and guys in their 70s, still driving, at the mercy of these limo companies. And I'm watching these guys, and I'm like, God help me, I don't want to end up like one of them. And now I'm facing that. But I'm not going back to any limo company, because I could run it better than they do, but I don't have the wherewithal now. And they're all just criminal-minded and stupid. Just small-minded. So I've ended up, I drove Uber and Lyft for a couple of years and then realized how horrible they were. They were even worse. They got a turnover. Your average driver doesn't last a year. Doesn't even last a year. 96 or 98% of their drivers don't last a year. So Uber screwed me because I used to put online, I would record, the scumbags that were riding, and I'd talk about Uber, and I should have fucking stayed with it and monetized it, but magically the channel got deleted because I had a couple of thousand, mostly Uber drivers, watching me and listening to me and subscribing. And I could have monetized, but they kept pulling my shit because I was talking about Uber and Google. And then Uber finally gets wind of it, and they set me up like a bowling pin. They set me up like a fucking bowling pin. So I'm like, well, okay, fine. We don't need your services anymore, Mr. Lucan. All right, fuck you. I'm still driving for Lyft at the time. So 3 times I got hit driving. I get hit by a drunk, uninsured woman, hillbilly. Mashes into my car, all down the driver's side of my car, and then takes off. And I'm chasing her. I'm talking to 911. They go, no, you shouldn't chase. That's dangerous. I'm like, fuck you. I want this fucking person. I want them to pay. I chase her all the way to her house. She drunkenly backs into me and fucks up smashes into my front end. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And before I can get out, she runs in the house because I would have fucking killed her. I would have decked her right there. Cops, I call the cops. They finally show up. And they're like, well, we can't just go in the house. Not on this kind of thing. Just make a report. We'll put it down. She's uninsured because we looked that up. And her plate's like, oh, then tow the fucking car. No, we can't do that either. No, sorry. Great. So I get fucked. But Lyft, the company, LYFT, in their paperwork on their website, it says, we insure you. If you're going to pick someone up or on a job, you're insured. 100%. Great. Okay. But there's a $2,500 deductible. $2,500 deductible. That's how they get away without paying anybody. Guys get their cars destroyed and they're like, I can't afford. Well, sorry. Goodbye. You're fired. Well, we're not fired. We just don't need you anymore. I'm like, and then it says in small print, unless it's an uninsured motorist, we will cover that deductible. Lyft said it right there. $2,500 deductible. We'll take care of that if they're uninsured. I'm like, cool. I fought with the fucking, because then they just fob it off on this bogus insurance company they got. I don't know who these guys are. Fly-by-night insurance. So for weeks, I'm arguing with some 20-year-old cunt. Just some actuarial table looking fucking child. Telling me that isn't true. I'm like sending it to her and showing it to her. You fucking pay for this, because the bill was over 10 grand to fucking fix my Cadillac, because it's a Cadillac. I'm like, you're paying for this. I'm not paying any $2,500 deductible. And of course, the scumbag body shop, Fine Line, they're called, in Columbus, Ohio, stay miles away from them. They're run by some fucking East European cocksucker in a running suit and gold chains. They finally cough up the money. But what do? They send it to the body shop. The $2,500. Not the original 8 or 9 grand they covered. But the body shop wouldn't let it go. You still owe us $700. I'm like, it's coming. They sent it to the fuck $2,500 to the body shop. What does the body shop do? Oh, the bill changed. It's no longer $700. It's $2,500 more. They stole half of that from me. I should have gotten, if they'd have sent me the check, I could have paid them like $700 or $800, and the balance would have been mine. It still is mine. They robbed me, and I'm like, fuck it, it ain't worth fighting these fucking people. It just ain't fucking worth it. So I got screwed again and again and again. And now my phone stopped ringing. I'm facing disaster. I actually signed up for Lyft again. I think they forgot who I was. Because if been in the record, they wouldn't, But they don't have a legitimate cause to not let me back on. Because if that had happened, I would have sued them for, age discrimination or something. Which is probably what it would have been. Or because of the fact that I'm a white male. Your average driver is an illegal. They hire the illegals because they get paid no matter what. So you got these illegals all driving. The very people that put me out of business. I had to go back to driving Lyft, and guess who I'm driving? Fucking illegals all over the city of Columbus. Why? Because they're given Lyft vouchers for free. They're traveling for free. Or they're 80% black and they're getting it for free. Even the ones that claim they got a job, they get subsidized. So there's old racist me with nobody watching, because the AI recognized what I was saying, what I'm saying. Fuck them. Fuck YouTube. You're all Zionist fucking stooges. Somebody will stumble across this one day. Maybe after I go postal or I defend myself in a situation. White man defends himself. I don't anticipate that, but I can almost feel it coming. I can almost sense it. Because I have to keep doing this. I can't cover my bills. And on top of that, the Medicare, the Medicaid, I had to go on that to cover the what Medicare won't cover. And the assistance I was getting from the counties, they tried, these woke women working for the counties, overemployed. They got 1,000 of them working in fucking offices doing nothing except looking for old white guys to screw over. They kept trying to pull my benefits, and each time I had to appeal it to the state. And when the state auditor or the state regulator looked at it, they said, "You can't do this to Mr. Luke." And I said, "You're recording this, I'm recording it too." I said, "You people are deliberately discriminating against me because of who and what I am." And I said, there's going to be a backlash, because people like me aren't going to put up with this shit forever. We're at the end of our fucking tether. And in the meantime, this is what the drug companies do to you. Look at this. Look at this. Outrageous. Out-fucking-rageous. Enough drugs to kill a herd of elephants, and they expect you to take them. Goodbye.